Well, good afternoon. What a great day. Man, we are so proud at the Missouri After School Network to be hosting this third annual virtual STEM symposium. And we are so grateful for our funders who make this happen, the STEM Next Opportunity Fund, as well as our great partner at Missouri University of Science and Technology, the Cummer Center for STEM Education. And we're grateful for this afternoon session. It's going to be a great time. Hope you enjoy this. It is my distinct privilege this afternoon to introduce a young lady to kick this off. First of all, last week we were at STEM Day at the Capitol in Jefferson City, and there was a group of after-school programs there, one of which was from Camdenton, Missouri, down at Lake of the Ozarks. Camdenton was the first after-school program to introduce robotics into the state of Missouri using their 21st century dollars to do so. And when they did, they opened up a whole new world to a bunch of students there at Lake of the Ozarks, one of whom is our special guest that's going to kick this off. Maya Irvin is now a sophomore at Washington University, and she was a part of a world championship robotics program at Camdenton. She came through the after-school program. And so we are so delighted that we get a chance to hear just a few moments from Maya talking about her experience beyond being a part of the robotics program, the after-school program in Camdenton, and now being at WashU. She was also a youth ambassador for the After School Alliance back when she was a freshman in high school. And now she's a sophomore. Maya, thank you so much for taking a few moments between classes and now a biology major at Washington University in St. Louis. So tell us a little bit about your experience growing up, going through the after-school program and the introduction of STEM, and then how that has affected where you are today.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for that great introduction, and also for the opportunity for me to be able to tell my story. Thank you for the great introduction, by the way, but I'll just repeat a couple of things here. My name is Maya Irvin. I'm a sophomore at Washington University in St. Louis, and I am majoring in molecular biology and biochemistry. I'm also minoring in environmental studies and anthropology. And for my future plans, I'm looking to pursue a PhD, some form of higher education, to pursue a plant science, specifically plant science research in like the field of academia, because I've always really just loved plants. But what really truly got me into the field of STEM was after school. I did not have I didn't feel like I had the confidence to pursue STEM before joining after school, specifically my first robotics program, which, by the way, very great introduction to our first robotics program, Mark. Thank you. I went to the Camden School District, which is a rural school district, and they really, really cared about after school. Thank you. They really, really did care a lot about after school. So I was very lucky to join First Robotics when I was in 4th grade. So I have 9 total years of after school experience with First Robotics. And I also still go back and mentor when I still can, because I love the program and I want to inspire a lot of the students who are still in the program to feel inspired to go into STEM programs, much like I did when I was involved. To give a little background into First Robotics, it's a program for preschool through 12th grade students that basically inspires kids to go become STEM leaders and innovators. And they use robots as a vessel that encourages a love for STEM. And they also completely value any sort of background. So even though, I was a girl going into STEM, that doesn't matter at all, because they really believe that no matter what your background is, STEM can be perfectly for you. I also was involved with other after-school programs, but I was very lucky to be able to join First Robotics, because that was the first push for me to join into STEM and to pursue STEM as a young girl. And now I'm very, very excited about all of my STEM classes that I'm taking: chemistry and biology and microbiology and plant science. And this excitement really started bubbling up whenever I was in First Robotics doing, little Lego robots. I also had very encouraging mentors and peers that very much pushed me. They saw my excitement relating to biology and a lot of other STEM programs, and they really pushed me hard to pursue this, even though I was a little bit nervous at first. And then another after school program that I was really thankful for was a science research project or science research program in my high school. It was an after school program that inspired me to pursue research as a career, and gave me the confidence to pursue doing research in college, which currently I am working in the Kunkel Lab, which is a plant microbe lab at Washington University. It's very plant and microbiology focused, which I didn't expect for me to ever pursue microbiology research. But I'm very excited to be doing that now. It's a lot of hands-on work, a lot of independent work, and it's something that I'm really loving a lot. And I never would be here right now if it wasn't for my really amazing after-school programs that gave me the confidence to do that. Yeah, Camdenton really, the after-school programs that were offered at Camdenton really inspired me to pursue STEM not only as a career, but to go into research and to actively advocate for myself in all of my classes, when I'm talking to peers, when I'm doing research with my research mentor and things like that. And the confidence, communication skills, leadership, the critical thinking skills that I've gained through after school, alongside these STEM skills that I've learned, are completely invaluable to where I'm at now. And I'm really thankful for that experience.
Oh my goodness, Maya, if my buttons are popping, I know everybody else that has watched you grow up, their buttons are popping. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks for taking some time today. Hang out with us a little longer if you would. But yeah, and I know this, Miss Comer is going to be glad to see this when I share this video with her. So Sherry has now retired and enjoying being a grandparent, but boy, her heart is still in Camdenton, and I know she will be incredibly proud when she gets to see this a little later on. So thank you again. We are incredibly proud of you, grateful for you, and we're cheering for you as you move forward in your future. All right, thank you so much.
Thank
Terry,
you guys so much too.
you bet. Terry, you take it away now.
Great. Thank you, Maya, for coming in and talking with us a little bit this start of this session. So the next speakers and kind of our topic for this session, and Maya touched on it, is to think about and learn about and share about role models and mentors. It's one of the transformative processes that's part of the Million Girls Moonshot approach, because it's not just having these experiences, it's having the interactions with individuals who are coming from the fields and seeing and having role models that you can identify with that really make a difference in these experiences that we're trying to provide to children and youth in their after school and during their school experiences. So I'm really excited to introduce our two speakers that are coming up, Brenda and Kata from the National Girls Collaborative Project. And they're going to introduce themselves, but I said I wanted to introduce NGCP because it is celebrating their 20th anniversary. And you can see their 20 up in the background. And Mason is also celebrating our 20th throughout this year, 20th year of being a network. And whereas Mason, the Missouri After School Network, is a network of the professionals and programs that are providing after school throughout the state, NGCP is a network of networks. And so taking it to a whole nother level as far as networking organizations like Mason and other youth serving and STEM serving entities. So I'm just really excited that that they're able to talk with us, and we're both been in this for 20 years from different perspectives, from after school and the STEM perspective, but we've been connected to NGCP and some of their early projects for more than 10 years. And it's just really exciting to have you guys here to speak with us. So I'll turn it over to you guys to introduce yourselves.
Thank you, Terry, very much. I appreciate that. And I know NGCP and the Missouri After School Network definitely go way back. So it's exciting to be here with you all, and happy 20th anniversary to you as well. I think Kata's going to share we're going to share some slides with you as we get started. I wanted to also thank Maya. There's no better way to kick off any session that we're a part of than having a young woman talk about her experiences. So we really appreciate that. And, you know, we at NGCP, we work with a lot of different organizations. As Terry said, we're a network of networks, but Maya really touched on why we focus on after school programs so much. I think we just know that they have such a unique and critical role in engaging youth in STEM, especially youth who don't always, you know, as easily identify with STEM. So we really appreciate your story, Maya. I'm Brenda Britsch. I'm Director of Research and Evaluation for NGCP. I've been a part of NGCP for almost the whole 20 years, so I go way back. And I will let Kata introduce herself before we get started.
Thanks, Brenda. Hi, everyone. I'm Kata Lucas. I'm a senior researcher with NGCP. I haven't been a lot with NGCP as long. It's been about 3 years. Time flies, though, and I'm really looking forward to talking with you all.
So we're going to provide just a little bit of background about using STEM role models in after-school programs, why it's important, and then also a few resources, and then we'll pass it off to the next presenters. And if you wouldn't mind, I know everybody has introduced themselves in the chat, but it'd be great to hear if people have used role models in their programs, whether they've been STEM related or not. And then we'll come back to that in a minute, but go ahead to the next slide, Kata. So I'll tell you just briefly about NGCP and our resources before we jump into role models. As Terry said, we're a network of networks. We bring together organizations committed to informing and encouraging girls to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, and math. And we support and create STEM experiences that are as diverse as the world that we live in. And we encourage you to check out our free resources that we have available, all designed for educators working to engage youth in STEM. We have national webinars monthly on relevant topics, the variety of speakers. I think I saw Mary Fuller come in. She's actually been a presenter for us on a webinar. We have a monthly e-newsletter that shares national STEM events, STEM resources, professional development opportunities. And on our website, we have a collection of what we call exemplary practices on engaging girls in STEM, engaging other youth underrepresented in STEM, blog posts, and some statistics and research to support your work as well. And we're happy to be an implementation partner with Million Girls Moonshot. I think we're all familiar with the initiative in Missouri, but we're happy to be able to be a part of that, which enables us to do this work with all of the after-school networks across the country. And as part of our work with Million Girls Moonshot, we created what's called the Access to STEM framework, and we'll put the link in the chat. It's going to be a little bit hard to see. You can go to the next slide, Kata. It'll be a little bit hard to see on the screen, but what we've done with MGM is really try to identify through research and practice some key strategies for after-school programs related to providing equitable opportunities in STEM for their youth. And so I just wanted to show it briefly, and we've circled the strategies that are most relevant today. Community engagement is one. I think people are going to be talking about family engagement a little bit later. And then when we're talking about role models, they really help facilitate positive youth development. They help to make STEM relevant to youth and provide supportive relationships to youth. And they also really help with connected pathways, helping to expose youth to diverse STEM careers and people. So now I'm going to turn over to Kata to talk a little bit about why STEM role models.
Thanks, Brenda. Before I dive into the role models, just one slide that just provides a little bit of an overview for why we're doing this work, why we're trying to foster greater equity in STEM. And so research really demonstrates that all youth are capable in STEM, that youth experience STEM differently due to a variety of factors. Some of those factors are listed on this slide. So access or lack of access to high quality STEM opportunities, whether those be in school or outside of school. Also due to the multiple impacts of stereotypes, the role of curriculum and that curriculum not being personally and or culturally relevant to youth. And then also an access to or lack of access to relatable role models. So those role models that youth can connect with, whether on a personal or a professional level. And really all of these experiences result in various inequities and impact youth's interest, confidence, sense of belonging or identification with STEM, and then impact their likelihood in pursuing STEM opportunities and careers. So why STEM role models? I think folks in the chat, and now I need to pull it up again, there were a lot of ideas or examples of how you've used STEM role models. And so as we kind of bring up these points on the slide, I think you'll see a lot of overlaps with your work. And so research really, engagement with STEM role models is one research tested strategy for fostering youth interest, identification, and participation in STEM. And the research tells us a variety of different findings. And so, for example, role models can impact youth's perception, shift youth perception relating to STEM about who belongs in STEM and STEM fields, dispelling stereotypes about STEM. Sorry, have to bring those points up on the slide. And also that when youth engage with role models, they have a variety of different opportunities to relate and really perceive similarities between role models and themselves. And this can really shape their beliefs about being successful in STEM, really making STEM more relevant to their lives. Also, when role models share their journey, this can really help to broaden the notion of STEM fields. Often there's a lot of stereotypes around STEM being isolating, that you work alone, but STEM professionals can really show a different side of STEM, show how it's social and collaborative in a lot of ways. And then also can really help youth develop positive STEM identities. So when youth have opportunities to relate to role models, to relate to their career journeys and find those similarities, this can really help youth identify with STEM careers, fields, and professionals. And now I'm going to pass it back to Brenda to talk a little bit about role model experiences and the variety of best practices related to role model engagement.
Thanks, Kata. And just to note a couple comments in the chat. So relatability was brought up as a big benefit for exposing youth to those STEM role models, and also seeing STEM professionals, local STEM professionals from within their communities. That's another great benefit. And for young people to see the barriers and challenges can be overcome. Yes, those are all really great potential impacts from having STEM role models. Thank you for sharing. So we wanted to just, broaden the notion of role models. When we talk about role models, of course, part of that are in-person role models that might come to your program, right? And those opportunities are fantastic. But we're also talking about role models that might come to your program virtually, or even through media, through images that you have in your space, videos you can show in your programs, and also through activities. If you were in the earlier session with Perrin, she was talking a lot about a variety of engineering activities to do, and that's a great example of being able to either pull in an engineer to talk about, how their work relates to the activity, or really even just talking about engineers who you know through like we're going to share some resources in a minute that I think will be helpful, but either in your community or ones that you have found online that you can introduce your youth to. So I want you to think really broadly about role model experiences and not just the in-person opportunities. Okay, next slide. So when you're thinking about identifying and recruiting role models, whether it's for in-person or through media or to use with activities, research and practice have shown diversity is really a key factor to consider. And we're talking about diversity in terms of race and ethnicity, but we're also talking about diversity in terms of other characteristics, but also STEM role models' backgrounds, right? So their career pathways, the STEM discipline that they're in, and also their STEM story. So as people said in the chat, we want STEM role models to be relatable. And when we're serving the youth that we're serving, it's really helpful to think about how many different STEM role models can we introduce them to, or can we highlight, right? In terms of a career pathway that maybe wasn't completely clear from the beginning, right? Maybe somebody decided they wanted to go into STEM later in life. Maybe somebody really struggled with math and science in school, but they were able to still do it because they found something they were passionate about. All of those stories can really be helpful to find, something for each of our youth to relate to. And then in addition to diversity, research and practice also shows us some additional characteristics that are really important for effective role models. And I want you to think about other ones that feel free to put in the chat if you have other ideas of characteristics that you think would be helpful for role models coming to your programs. But we know they need to be engaging and supportive. Relatable has already been mentioned, and some of the research terms this as meaningfully similar. So you need to be able to kind of see yourself in that person, right? Whether that's race and ethnicity or background or career pathway, interests outside of STEM, all of those things come into play. Effective STEM role models are competent and successful, yet the success needs to be seen as attainable, right? So I think we all know that if you have someone who just comes off as super brilliant, didn't have any challenges, and just skyrocketed, their way to a successful STEM profession, it's probably not as relatable to most of us. Somebody who maybe had some challenges along the way, or could talk about their experiences in a more relatable way. Again, to really share their STEM journey. Somebody said this in the chat too, like both your successes and your challenges, right? And how you persisted. And then it's also really important for our role models to present that they have a life outside of their STEM career, right? When we bring role models in to work with us, they often ask questions about if they have pets, right? If they have a family, if they have hobbies. All of those things are really nice for youth to be able to see, and to be able to see that maybe that's something they can do someday. Okay, I think I'm turning. Oh, so here's a question for you all to think about. And we don't have a lot of time. We're just kind of introducing this topic before we go into the next session, the next speakers, but I'd like you to just think about your program. If you have used role models, which ones have been really effective and why? And if you haven't, who do you think an ideal STEM role model would be? And what do you think their characteristics would be? And we'd love to see some ideas in the chat. I see another idea about STEM role models being able to bridge generational differences. That's a really great point. And we really encourage people to think about role models from a range of ages, right? From near peer role models all the way through older professionals to kind of help do that. Thank you, Carlos. Okay, Kata. Over to you.
Thanks. So just another factor to consider when thinking about integrating role models or planning a role model event, it's important to prepare the role models to talk with youth. So to really create a space where young people and the role models really feel that they're valued and comfortable to engage in conversation and to ask questions. And one resource that we wanted to share, and it's on this slide, and then we'll share the information in the chat. Sorry if you briefly heard my dog. Is the TechBridge Role Models Matter training. And this is a 1-hour training available to after school networks. It's for STEM professionals, educators, program staff, and the training involves and really seeks to prepare role models to connect, engage, and learn with youth. And so we just wanted to share an example of how you could apply such a training into your work and the benefits of that. And so you'll see 2 role models on this slide that participated in a summer program that NGCP implemented. It's a program called Bright. And we trained our role models using such an approach like Tech Bridges that really enabled girls to connect and engage with the role models. And so, for example, we really encouraged our Bright role models to share their passion, to make connections with girls, to really dispel those stereotypes related to STEM people and fields. And so one of our role models on the slide, Leslie Townsell, pictured here, was one of our Bright role models. And Leslie is a Black woman marine scientist, and she shared her activism with girls with a nonprofit called Black and Marine Science. She shared her scientific work with girls studying oyster aquaculture. And this really enabled girls to connect with her in multiple ways, whether that be because she was a woman of color, an activist, or with her work as a scientist and her interests related to marine science. So really allowing girls to have a variety of opportunities to connect with her and her story. And similarly, one of our other Bright role models, also on this slide, Amanda Sullivan. She's an early childhood education STEM researcher. Amanda shared when she talked with girls about some of the challenges she faced as part of her STEM journey, and how she persevered through those challenges. So Amanda has her PhD now, but she faced an unexpected year off, and this really led her to question if college was for her. And she shared how she persevered through those challenges, really enabling girls to see how STEM professionals also encounter barriers in their journey, the various ups and downs of pursuing a career in STEM, or really any career. And this really helped to instill these ideas related to growth mindset and perseverance for girls. And I'll just mention that, so the TechBridge training is available for you to use in your work, to share with your educators, to share with other partners or role models that you might work with. And the link that we'll put in the chat will be a page where you can sign up for an account on their online portal, and you'll access this online training, which is asynchronous. And then you'll also have access to a group of MGM related after school programs. And there's a space to chat. And the training itself includes a variety of videos and reflection questions. And so just as you want to prepare role models, we also encourage you to prepare youth to talk with role models. This really helps to build a sense of community in the context of a program or an event or activity, whatever it might be. And so we encourage educators to foster conversation around STEM topics, around the work of role models, to share some information about role models in advance of youth meeting the role model. So this can really help build their interest around the work of the role model and help kind of prep them as they're thinking about what they might want to talk with the role model about. And then in a very explicit way, we also encourage educators to support youth in actually preparing questions to ask the role model. This again will help you feel more comfortable asking a variety of different questions of the role model, whether that relates to the role model's STEM career and or the personal experiences of the role model. And next, I just wanted to share some resources for really integrating role models into your work. So on this first slide, we have FabFems. So FabFems is an international database that NGCP runs. It's a great tool for recruiting role models. You can search by your location, your field of interest, and more. And on each role model's profile, it'll say that role model's name, it'll say their education, field of work, race, ethnicity, and then it will also indicate how that role model would prefer to engage or their level of engagement. So for example, some role models will visit a program in person, others will do online role model engagements, and some will respond directly to girls and or educators through email. And there's a form to fill out where you can contact the role model. Another great resource that we wanted to share is called the If Then collection. So many of you might be familiar with the If Then collection already, but just to provide a brief overview. So NGCP manages the If Then collection in partnership with Lyda Hill Philanthropies, and the collection is the largest free resource dedicated to increasing access to resources of women STEM professionals. So in the digital library, there's tons of assets, photos, videos, the contact information of these STEM professionals, and other assets such as activities related to the role model's work. And the content really features a diverse variety of careers, whether that's shark tagging, fashion design, training Olympic athletes. There's a variety of diverse careers in there. And all of those assets are free to use for educational purposes. And then on this slide, you'll just kind of see a sampling of some of the resources in the collection. So I don't think I mentioned previously, there are those poster collections, which I think a variety of you have seen before, the activities that feature the If Then ambassadors that introduce youth to STEM concepts, but then also connect those concepts to real world issues, and then the variety of images and videos that are available for download. And we also wanted to mention on the If Then website, there is the MGM portal. So that's just a subsection. I can put the link in chat of the If Then collection that features assets that are particularly relevant for after school and summer practitioners. And NGCP was key in developing these resources and activities. And then one final piece I think related to the If Then collection before I pass it back to Brenda is that we have a code for you all. You can download all of these assets using the code MGM 2023. We just recommend that depending on if you are using a firewall protection, this just might be easier than streaming those assets. So that's just a little FYI. And I think I'm going to pass it back to Brenda.
Thanks, Kata. Just one last slide, one more resource of role model videos. If you're not familiar with Side Girls, they have a few nice collections of pretty brief videos to show where women talk about their careers and what they're passionate about and their lives outside of their careers, and they're really effective. And we'll put those links in the chat as well. And I think that's all we have. And so I'm happy to turn it back to Terry or Clint, whoever's taking off the next session.
Great.
Thank you. So we are going to be jumping into our resource panel next. And I'd like for you to think of this as kind of a virtual exhibition hall. So what I'm going to do is ask our resource panel, each one of them, to introduce themselves. They'll have 3 minutes to just quickly tell us who they are, who they're representing, and an elevator pitch of what it is they will be talking about in their breakout room. And then we're going to let you all hop into whichever breakout room you'd like to join. Feel free to go to as many as you'd like. And then at about 1:55, we will hop back into our main room and wrap up for the day. So I'm going to start with Orlando. Why don't you introduce yourself?
And I wasn't ready. I'm
Oh,
sorry, everybody.
sorry.
My name is Orlando Sharp. I am a STEM catalyst and creative technologist. Me and my wife, Gail Sharp, we operate BetaMade. It's not actually a business, but it's a community service. And so we partner with community organizations, churches, schools, all over St. Louis City, participating in creating positive opportunities to participate in STEM and STEM content. I have a ton of resources, and today I'm going to really focus on about 3. And so hopefully you join in and grab this information.
Perfect. Thank you, Orlando. Cabrette, would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure. Thank you all. My name is Cabrette, and I'm a senior community partnerships manager at Girls Who Code. And that means that I get to work with educators, libraries, nonprofits, community leaders to bring our free curriculum to students across the country. In the breakout today, I would love to talk about 2 programs that Girls Who Code offers. Both of them are free. Our clubs program, which it's possible you may have heard of, where we ask for a volunteer educator or someone in the community to take students through our free curriculum. We provide a club fund, so that's financial assistance, as well as support with helping you understand the material to then share with your students. No coding experience is required for someone who wants to start a Girls Who Code club. We make it very easy and simple to do that anywhere. Our other program is a little bit different. Our Girls Who Code summer program is for high school students, and we run that program entirely. And I really just want to share a little bit more about how you can encourage your high school students to apply for that program. It is also free and focused on helping students learn coding skills, as well as get a sneak peek into the industry and what it looks like to be a woman in tech. So those are 2 programs I'd love to highlight and talk to you about in the breakout today.
Perfect. Thank you. And Rihanna.
Hi. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Rihanna Clark, and I am from the Discovery Center. We're located in Springfield, Missouri. And so at the Discovery Center, we try to make science and all type of STEM learning fun and educational. We have a couple of different opportunities I'd love to speak with you all about. We do virtual education here really well, and we do it in a couple of different ways. Excuse me, that is my walkie. We do it in a couple of different ways. We can send out individual science kits to your students, or we can send one big lesson out to a classroom. And we also would love to travel to you. So our main resource is Science on Wheels, and whether that's UPS wheels or our wheels, we can bring it to you. So I'd love to talk to you guys about that.
Excellent. Thank you. And last but not least, Carlos.
Yeah, hello, folks. And thank you both to Kata and Brenda. I have like 20 tabs open because of all the great resources you shared. So really fantastic. Yes, my name is Carlos Santini, CEO of Ms. by Mott. We are a 100% free digital resource for out-of-school time practitioners, funded entirely and supported by the Charles Stewart Mott Foundation. So that is why we're able to offer it for free. What we're going to share in our breakout session is we're going to dive into what we call our STEM library, which is 20% of our almost 2,000 pieces of content are STEM related content. So I'm just glad to be able to be part of this community that's bringing great resource to you all. And so that's what you'll find when you come on into our session is we'll walk through a couple of team building activities, and then we'll get a deep dive into a couple of publishers that have brought great content to our hub for use by the field. And so that is me, and hope to see you later. Thank you.